Carter, and we are live here at Austin Tech Week. We are on the fifth floor, right outside of the Connector Plus Lounge here, and Capital Factory has been just an amazing host for us all week long, and really allowed us to connect with the voice of the founder, which is what we've been talking about all week here. And I have a really cool founder here. Shruti, tell us about Whitespace Thinking.
Yeah, hi. I'm so happy to be here, and thank you so much for having me
It's
on.
great to have you here, Shruti.
I'm here representing my firm, Whitespace Thinking. We are a B2B marketing and transformation studio. And when I say marketing and transformation, we essentially mean that the soul of what we do and what we represent is driven by marketing, about being able to take that B2B voice to the customers. However, we are heavily, heavily driven by automation and AI. And while there are numerous people who are talking about AI-driven marketing today, what we believe that what we bring to the table is that whole soul and essence of marketing, which is so important when you're trying to get your voice and your message out to the customer. But as for most growth companies, for most startups, they would want it to happen sooner than later.
Yeah.
So that's where the technology and the automation, and especially now the AI comes in. Uh, we are able to get in a lot of strategic thinking, a lot of process orientation, and also a lot of impact focused marketing in at half the cost and at sometimes one third the time that it would take in a traditional environment, which I grew up in.
B2B marketing is hard. B2C marketing, it's a little bit more accessible, a little bit lower cost. Automation around that makes a lot of sense. You grab a lot of content, you're in bulk, you're watching to see the conversion rates. But B2B it's challenging. So I own a nearshore consulting firm, and we have really worked hard with trying to market to other firms that need our services, and we've never been successful with it from a pure marketing perspective. Now, grabbing our podcast, going to events, meeting founders, shaking their hands, looking them in the eye, talking to them about their challenges, highly successful and highly dependent on me and my team traveling to exciting places like here at the Capital Factory in Austin, Texas, but also very hard to scale. And so you're talking about the automation in the B2B space. Um, you're pushing the innovative thinking and the uh, being authentic, but also in B2B. So how exactly, what does that process look like? How do you be successful with that?
Okay, I love the question, and especially because I think you've been there, done that.
Oh yeah.
So I think it's more authentic when it comes from you rather than just, just more from a curiosity perspective. Yes, B2B is hard, but then I think what most people don't realize that there is more B2B marketing than the glamorous B2C. In fact, there's a study I was going through recently. Globally, if you look at marketing spends, B2C spends just 16%, and the rest of the marketing spend is B2B. When you pick up your favorite soda from a Target, when Target is purchasing that soda from the soda company, it's a B2B transaction, right? When an airline picks up their Boeing or the Airbus aircraft, it's a B2B transaction. Uh, right, there are, and the technology world, I think it thrives purely on B2B. You look at any of the big companies, a chunk of their revenue will come from B2B and not from B2C. Having said that, it doesn't make B2B easier.
Right.
Attribution, I think, in B2B is so
Yeah,
hard.
being more expensive doesn't mean that it's easy.
It is so hard to say that, okay, I got this lead from this particular ad or this event or this conversation, because it could be everything or none.
Yeah.
You never know, right? It also makes it more harder because B2B is so boring, especially given from an advertising perspective. I don't know why most B2B marketeers have, especially in the tech space, and that's where I grew up with, in the tech marketing side. People love to put the entire service architecture on their brochures and their case studies.
Yeah.
And then they expect the finance managers and the procurement managers to be able to understand that when they have no understanding of it. Right, and that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to bring in a little bit of a human side to B2B. Um, I think what, again, a small anecdote, every B2B transaction has about 16 human touch points, whereas today a B2C may be zero.
Right.
Right? You may go to a kiosk on an airport and just pick up that soda, which I spoke about earlier. But for every B2B transaction, there will be 16 people. So there will be 16 people you can reach out to from a marketing perspective. Don't worry about the attribution. Worry about reaching out to people. And what we are trying to do with automation is not bring the AI agents. They're not going to solve your problem.
Right.
Right? I've been in B2B marketing for 20 years, worked with smaller companies, startups, with large enterprises, with the biggest professional services firms in the world. And what I build across these years are frameworks for audit, frameworks for go to market enablement, for frameworks for, say, even repositioning your brand. And that's what we are trying to automate and bring AI in. Like for a customer, we were able to do their entire repositioning conversation within a week,
Wow.
end to end, right from their first conversation with their CEO to actually giving them their boilerplates and their positioning statements and go to market training in a week.
Now you take that in a week and then you start running it and then and this was always the challenge for me is for the first several weeks you don't know if it's working or not. Is that right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and that especially for a smaller company like my own, that's scary. Like you're investing money, you're putting dollars out there, and you don't know is this working? Is this becoming effective? Am I going to get business from this? How do you coach your clients through that?
Okay, so I'll ask you a counter question. Uh, what is more risky? Doing a repositioning, getting the response after 3 to 6 months, and still trying to experiment to see if it's working, or getting something on your table in a week, going to market very quickly, and course correcting on the way in an agile manner?
No, absolutely. I love the agility. My concern is more because I'm able to get a new positioning out in a week. Do I wait 2 weeks and go, oh, this didn't work and make a new one? Because that's for me is I pivot too fast. So how do I know when it's time to hold or when it's time to pivot?
Okay. A lot of your customers will tell you, not, maybe not directly, but you have to keep your eyes and ears open. As marketeers, I think especially the new age marketeers, they're so in love with technology. I think they forget to listen to the most important people, the customers.
Yep.
The customers, when they're, and they'll give you nonverbal signals, they'll give you a lot of hints. If your value proposition is interesting, you will say people come back to you, they will listen to you. They may not give you the business immediately, but if they are really interested in your value proposition, you will see their eyes light up.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if your value proposition is totally misplaced, you will get misinterpreted. We've had technology consultants being misinterpreted as staffing companies because they were not represented right.
Right.
Right, and the customer will tell you.
So I approach technology from a very marketing perspective. So if you talk to people in the agile software development space, they will tell you that it is impossible to get a customer to tell you what they want. And if you talk to any marketing person, they will say there are a lot of tools for me to go and talk to the customer and find out what they need. And what I find a lot of founders do is they don't talk to the customer at all, especially technical founders. They have an idea, they build a product, they fall in love with the product, they become a visionary, they deliver a product, and then they're out there like, time to do the product market fit. And they're like, okay, who do we sell this to? And the problem is, like, I've never seen somebody back into a product market fit. Not successfully. It happens once in a while. I know Slack, they built something for in a game, and Snapchat, they built Snapchat first, and then they built Slack, and lucked into a backing into a product fit twice. That is so rare. That's like getting struck by lightning 4 times and winning the lottery on the same day. Like, that is rare. But it's really possible to what we call is the catalyst method. Talk to your customer, find an audience and know them well, and then identify what they're very, very similar to Don Miller's Building a Story brand. find out what their goals are, what their ambitions are, find out what's keeping them from reaching that. And then lay out a problem statement. You have your audience, you know exactly who they are, and the problem would be their problem, pain, cause, consequence, and urgency. And I see a lot of founders out there solving a problem for a big audience, but a problem that doesn't have a lot of pain, doesn't have a lot of consequence, and has no urgency. Nobody's going to buy it.
Absolutely.
So if you find an audience and connect with that audience and know them well, and then understand their problem, and then create a solution that reduces the pain for a known audience, I think your job's almost halfway done at that point.
Yeah. Do you want to come work for us? Like you put it so well.
Let's do
I
it.
could-
Let's do it. Let's team up. Let's do it. Because now, and that's my approach to product development, not to marketing.
Yeah.
That is how I find out what my teams should be building. And we find a lot of times founders are like, hey, I had a founder one time, the whole tech team was on a call, and they talked to me about button color. And they're like, the button needs to be 3 colors. And I'm like, okay, but what happens when I click the button? Oh, you're right, the logo needs to be on the button. Like, a 4-color button with a logo on it is awful. Okay, but I'll do it. What happens when I click it? Oh, you're right, well, it needs to have some kind of animation. No. From a business perspective, there's no ROI on spending 30 hours on developing a button. Tell me what happens when I click it.
Yeah.
So a lot of times founders will fixate on branding and on developing IP and completely lose focus of, here's my customer, here's their problem, here's the solution that I need to solve this problem. And if there is ever something that doesn't directly solve a problem for a customer, don't build it yet. I mean, Bill Gates didn't build the iPhone. I'm sorry, he never built the iPhone. Apple didn't start with the iPhone.
Yeah.
They started with something that was readily available that solved a problem for a known audience immediately. And so taking a marketing approach to product development and product ownership, it's exactly what we have to do, because we can't go out just building stuff anymore. People aren't going to just throwing $10 million at somebody to try to develop a product market fit. They need to know that you understand your audience and that you have a connection to the audience and that you know how to solve their problem and that you're building problems to that market, not trying to build a product and then find the market.
I so agree with you. And like I said, you put it so much better than maybe even I could have done it.
Well, you
So
can steal it.
thank you. That's a very generous offer. But customer centricity, I don't think is something that you add on as an icing to the cake.
Right.
It has to be baked in from day one. And yes, the customer sometimes doesn't know what they want. If you asked Ford's earlier customer, they would have wanted better horses. But
And I love arguing against that, because Ford didn't invent the car. All
Agreed.
he did was make it a little faster and more accessible to the
that's
people
what I
who
was
want the
coming to.
fast.
Yeah. Well, the customer would have said better horses. What they really meant was they want to get from point A to point B really fast.
And they didn't understand that there were
Exactly.
other options.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They didn't know.
Yeah.
They didn't know better. So now that's where the visionary comes in. If you know the customer, you can
Yeah.
solve the problem with your vision.
And that's why we don't ask the customer, what do you want me to build? We ask the problem, what are the customer,
What's
what are
the-
you experiencing? What are your
Exactly.
goals? And it's very, very possible to reach out to a market, and people have talked about themselves. So you can go and ask, hey, what does your workday look like? We were working with some folks in logistics. You go into anybody that's doing procurement. Hey, what do you spend most of your time doing? Sending emails, trying to get quotes. Okay, how much time do you do on that? Oh, 6 hours a day. Well, what about important things like negotiating just-in-time inventory or doing floor stock and level agreements with your vendors? I don't have time for that. Well, that's the stuff that solves your problem, but you can't do it without
Because you
doing
don't have the
something
time.
else. So, awesome! I have a tool that can send out the RFQs to all your vendors and then pick a winner automatically, and that gives you 5 hours a day back, and now you can go work on these other things. Oh man, I want to see it. Awesome. I didn't ask them, hey, what do you want me to build for you? I asked them, what are your goals? What are your aspirations? What do you do? And then you develop the problem statement from that. Any marketing team can do that.
Exactly, and that's what I think we're trying to bring to the marketing world as well. Every owner wants to be able to say, I'll take an example, audit their current marketing process. However, if you were to sit and do it yourself or get an expensive agency to do it, they would take hours to do it, try and understand their process. We try and make that iterative. A couple of conversations here and there, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, and then when you get a technology rush into it, we're able to bring down that 3-day conference room setup to a 3-hour virtual call to just to get to know what is going well, what is not going well, and what I can fix.
Awesome.
The idea is not to bring to the table how bad you're doing, but just to give you an insight as to how this is how things are.
Yep.
And you don't need senior people in your team spending hours and days just trying to find that out. It's
Yeah.
valuable time wasted.
Awesome. Shruti, this has been a really fun conversation. Thanks for coming down and talking with us.
Thank you for us giving the opportunity. This was lovely.
Right. How do people find you?
So we have a couple of ways that people could reach out. I'm, of course, extremely active on LinkedIn. We have a live session as well. It's called Share Space, which is periodically done on LinkedIn. We have a website, whitespacethinking.org, and I'm also available on Instagram. So a lot of ways where you can reach out to me.
Awesome. Well, I love these conversations that we're having here at Capital Factory. Really enjoying Austin Tech Week, and this has been the Catalyst Effect. We are here all day on the 5th floor right outside of the Connector Plus Lounge. Come on down. I want to hear the voice of the founder.